This is UN News Today with me, Daniel Johnson. The headlines. Somalia's people face a real and credible risk of famine, and the Middle East crisis is making the situation worse, aid teams say, just as in Sudan 825,000 children could starve unless they receive help soon. And in Ukraine, amid more Russian drone and missile strikes, a UN convoy is hit twice. We'll have the details. At least 6 million people in Somalia are going for days without enough food, with a real risk of famine, UN aid teams warned on Friday. In an alert, they said that nearly 2 million were young children at high risk of illness or death. Somalia's rapidly intensifying hunger emergency is worsening faster than expected, driven by severe drought combined with flash flooding, insecurity, extremely limited humanitarian assistance, and the ripple effects of conflict in the Middle East, with supply disruptions in the vital Strait of Hormuz. With more, here's UN Children's Fund spokesperson Ricardo Pires.
We depend a lot, obviously, on ready-to-use therapeutic feeding to treat malnourished children, and with this projection that was just mentioned, this is critical. It's a matter of life or death for them. The cost of air freight has increased significantly since the Middle East crisis, to a point that it is of grave concern for us.
Disease levels are increasing alongside malnutrition, but healthcare is no longer available or stretched too thin by supply chain delays, originating in the Middle East. In 2022, famine in Somalia was only averted through massively scaled up and sustained international support after one of the longest droughts on record. A hunger crisis is also impacting Sudan, where agencies warn that more than 800,000 under 5-year-olds face near-starvation conditions amid ongoing war. The problem is that hunger is not only widespread, but it is deepening, according to the UN World Food Programme, WFP. The agency pointed to ongoing mass displacement caused by the conflict between Sudan's rival militaries, which has exhausted people's ability to feed themselves and any coping mechanisms they had. Humanitarians also continue to be attacked, said WFP's Ross Smith.
We are ready to do more. However, we can't do it alone. Reality is stark. Funding is far below what is required, and access to the most vulnerable must be improved. And for that, the fighting must stop.
Nearly 19.5 million people now face crisis levels of hunger in Sudan, with multiple areas at risk of famine in the coming months. The UN and humanitarian partners continue to help people in need across Sudan. These include nearly 88,000 people in South Kordofan state, including South Sudanese refugees, displaced people and host communities who've received water and sanitation support. To Ukraine, where in addition to continuing large-scale attacks by Russia in the capital and in western and central areas, a UN humanitarian convoy has come under fire twice. One strike in Kharkiv injured many civilians who had been going to work on Thursday. It also damaged homes and a shelter for displaced people. The UN convoy targeted twice had been delivering essential support to people in Kherson, with the help of Ukrainian authorities. The first drone strike hit as the aid convoy entered Ostriv, an area that has not received assistance for months. The second drone strike happened while the aid team was distributing relief items, badly damaging a clearly marked UN vehicle. What it means is that humanitarians are not safe, as well as many Ukrainians, although the essential work of providing assistance must continue, insisted Dr. Jano Habicht from the UN World Health Organization.
Every fifth attack is against ambulances and medical transport. So those who are going to save others are actually putting their lives in risk every day.
Since the full-scale Russian invasion on the 24th of February 2022, 239 health workers have been killed and 991 injured. Daniel Johnson, UN News.